Hello again, everybody. This is YetiPlayerOne coming to you from the IAE 2952. As it continues, we are nearing the end, and today is MISC, Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern. So MISC. No need to get fancy with the full name, right? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I'm a little late on posting this video. It's been a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and I've had some family over, so I've been a little busy, and, family comes first. Right off to the left here is one of my favorites of the MISC, is the Prospector. Boy, they made this one look pretty today. Prospector is a solo prospecting and mining ship, and it is, well, it's easy to use, folks. What's nice is that from the same pilot seat, you can operate the mining laser and maneuverability at the same time, which makes it very easy to do mining on planets solo, of course. This is a solo ship, crew of 1. It does have VTOL engines, which makes it nice and easy to hover while you're mining a asteroid. It is a size 1 mining laser, which isn't too much of a big issue. It's just different mining laser attachment than the Argo Mole. However, if you're planning on looking at bigger rocks than roughly about 5,500 in mass, you may be looking at needing 2 lasers, regardless of whatever ship you got. So, just keep an eye on that. I do love this ship. This was one of my first prospecting mining ship, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It has a hab unit in it. Ooh, can I? Yeah, there we go. It does have a hab unit, so you can travel out and bed log. And you can see it's not anything fancy. It's there. It works. It's got a bathroom even. Come on. And you know what though? This is probably arguably one of the best cockpit views in the game. Look at this. Completely unhindered to allow you best visuals on rocks that you want to maybe mine. So, again, very nice ship. Really appreciate this. I definitely plan on having a Prospector in my armada. Whoa, hello. You gotta let me out. Let me out. So, you realize you can rent this ship. However, if you rent this ship, you cannot change the mining lasers, to just a heads up. I do appreciate this, so thank you. So glad that they had it for looking around. Let's go ahead and go to the right here, which is the Hull A. This is the first of many. I say first of many, but this is the first of the Hull series. There's going to be other Hull ships. Obviously, what it is they're a cargo ship. So Hull A is the smallest one of the group, and there's going to be more to come, and I mean more, and they're going to be big. They're going to be able to hold a lot. But this ship is expandable, and it will open up to carry the cargo, and it closes down when there's 0 cargo. So that is kind of nice. Let's take a look inside. Can I take a look inside, or is it all just looks? Oh man, I really want to take a look inside. You know what? We're going for it. Let's see. Can I rent? Well, there you have it, folks. I still am having trouble renting. Again, it's a cargo ship, not meant to really do too much other than that. So you got small guns on this and on the Prospector. They are small. Right here in the middle, we have the Starfarer refueling ships. Starfarer refueling ships. These are, I don't see a lot of these right now in the verse. They're starting to gain speed. Let's go with that. They're starting to gain speed. We're starting to see some refueling gameplay. These ships can refuel at a station, and then they can fly around, and if people need a refuel, they can call on these ships. I haven't personally done the refueling process. From the looks of it, though, it does take some skill. It does take some practice to gauge the speed of refilling just right. Otherwise, you could actually end up wasting fuel and not do yourself any favors in that regard. You obviously can charge for the fuel that you provide. which is kind of nice. So you kind of set that number down. So that's really nice. These ships are also featured in Xenothreat as blown up cargo ships. So we have to get inside, look around. You see these things are not without some defense. However, we do have two different versions here. The Gemini, I believe, is the military version. So just be a heads up. Oh, it looks like there's a ramp down. Let's go take a look, guys. Let's go take a look inside. You see all the refueling tanks in here? And there's refueling arms. Yep, this is what you would see in Xenothreat. It's got a little bit of cargo space. These ships are not the most friendly when it comes to layout, I will say. Having gone through them in Xenothreat, I am not happy with them in the sense of layout. If you look, it is pretty simple. It's straightforward. The MISC have that very soft curve lines, which makes it really nice. They're not super industrial, but they are industrial. They're kind of like a nicer industrial. Not Crusader nice, but appreciated. Whoa. Dang. Okay. That works for me. Let's go ahead and we're going to squeak off to the... Do we have two exhibit halls open? Oh, this is going to be interesting, folks. We have a long... MISC is a busy one, apparently. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at halls 4 and 5. See what's over here. Again, this is my first time through this... every time I do one of these videos, that's usually my first time walking through, so please excuse my... not knowing where everything's at. I just go in here and I just kind of willy-nilly go through. Like, oh, I know this ship. Let me talk about it. So I hope you don't mind. If I say something wrong or incorrect information, I hope that it will be corrected in my info data on the bottom left side of the screen when I go through the editing. I always try to correct it. All right, so we are in the Freelancers section. It would appear. As of right now, there are 4 different types of Freelancers. There's a base, beginner model, which looks like it's on the left-hand side here, over there. There's also a Freelancer Max, which is right in the middle, that orange popsicle right in the middle there. We have an Exploration, and we also have a missile boat. These, so there's a different variations of the same ship. They're very basic design in the sense of like a spaceship design. They have a decent sized cargo space. They are not such a huge crew, but they work. A lot of people like to compare the base Freelancer to the Cuddy Black as the tier 2 starters, or tier 3. But they like to compare the two. They are comparable in the sense of they have give and take. So the Freelancer has the defense. The Cuddy Black has the firepower. So it just depends on what you are looking for. Of course, there are also variants on both of those ships that might sway you one way or the other. But I do appreciate the Freelancers. I had one for a little bit. They're really kind of fun because they have these... You see these guns? They have 4 guns, size 3 guns on them, which makes them pretty powerful when you really think about it. And they're on a turret, so they're automatically gimbaled. Yeah, they're automatically gimbaled, and so they're slave to the pilot seat. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to have fixed guns to have the firepower. What you do trade off, though, is the maneuverability. These ships do not have that great maneuverability. They're just simply, you know, they're first and foremost cargo ships. That's my that's what I'm sticking to here. But this is the Freelancer Max, and you can see like this has got some pretty decent cargo space in here. And when you go up to the front here, this is where it's the same as the rest of the Freelancers. You have an airlock with more cargo here, and then you have a hab unit. 4 bunks moving into the cockpit. The cockpit's kind of nice because it has 4 seats for all 4 crew members. But it has one heck of a view. It's very slim and very narrow and not very useful for combat, and I wouldn't want to use it for such. So just be aware that that is the same on all the Freelancers. So overall, not a bad series. So check them out. They're good. There's the base Freelancer is not bad. However, I would, if you're playing on cargo running, I would highly recommend the Freelancer Max. That's what I used to fly, which is that orange popsicle right there in the middle. That was the one I chose for a little bit until I finally just said, you know what, I'm upgrading to a Constellation Taurus. That's right. The Constellation Taurus just gave me more firepower and a little bit more maneuverability, I felt. But the shields on those Freelancers are no joke. They have some serious shields, and they can take a beating, unlike the Cuddy Black. So make sure to check them out. If this is something you haven't started, if you haven't joined this game yet, then I'm so glad you're watching, because I really like to show, especially newcomers, like these are the types of ships that you can be looking forward to. Maybe this won't work for you, maybe that won't work for you. I know some of us in the game that have been in this for a while get a little picky about, like, well, I need a toilet on my ship. What the hell do I need a toilet for? I don't care. It's just all about that feeling immersed in this game, and that's part of why we enjoy it. Is just the immersion and the simulation factor. So, all right, we're over here in Hall 2. Let's take a look over this way. Ooh, I already have an idea what we're going to see in here. Oh, yes. The Reliance. Let's see. Obviously, I want to get a nice slip of that sign. That's beautiful. Yep. The Reliance. A fun little thing here is that these Reliance are also very... it's a series. They're variable, kind of similar to the Freelancer. They do have some different things here. There is a starter one. I just don't remember what tier it is. It's definitely not like a high tier or anything. These tend to be 1 to 2 people crews, and they tend to be varying roles. What you do love about these, and I try to show you here, is that they actually have a wing. Oh gosh, what's the word for it? The wings turn vertical. So everything turns vertical. The cockpit too, and the seats rotate to fit that orientation. So it's kind of fun in that sense that it lands horizontal, but it flies vertical. All right, kind of nice. It does come with some decent firepower. It's funny. Here's the Mako. So they don't have a lot of cargo space per se. Let me see if I can get in there. I can see that it's trying to let me in, but it's not going to let me in. They don't have a lot of space. They are like one of them is a starter, but it's like light freight. There's a science vessel. There's a broadcast one. There's a fighter. Again, it's like a light fighter. But they have some decent firepower for a starter, and they're kind of like that. Amongst the first introductions to multi-crew ships. Here we go. Here's 2 bunk beds. You go through here, and here's the seats. So, kind of a fun little ship. It's not massive. You'd be kind of that starter light ship, multi-role ship. They're not. We've flown them once or twice. It's kind of awkward. You gotta have to get used to the wings, and that's kind of the hard part, is the wings. But once you get it, you have multiple guns on them. They're just not big guns. That's not necessarily bad, as we talked before. Sometimes it's just about getting ammo on target, and that's how you're going to win. So, moving on. But as I said, they're kind of a cool little ship. I have thought about getting it. My buddy did have it for a little bit, and we flew it around. It was fun. It's nice having a ship that's a 2-person ship like that without having the necessity for needing 2 people. So sometimes that's for what it is for this game, is, you know, playing with your friends. That's what makes this game. Either you're playing with friends or you're making friends, and I think that's what I love about this game. So I don't want people to forget that, you know, this game can be a lot to handle and a lot to absorb, and a lot of people get wrapped up in the whole, well, what am I supposed to do? Just go have fun. Go do what you want to do. That's the beauty of this game, is go out there, try different ways, try different careers. That's what's so wonderful about this event, is that you can go and rent these ships and take them flying and go see what it's like. And I think that's the best part of this event, is that you get to rent and test ships and see how they feel in space. Don't get mad with developers when you feel like a ship is not operating like it's supposed to in atmosphere. Remember, you're flying a ship in atmosphere. If it's got wings, use them. We got some razors down here. I believe I got this right. Yep. These typically are racing ships or light fighters. These are not like anything hard hitters, but they are they're quite fun and they're quite nimble. They're really hard to hit. Let's be honest here. When you got a ship this small and this maneuverable, it's really hard to hit. However, they're just not heavy hitters. So, but definitely fun ships overall. Overall, the MISC line, MISC brand it's a decent brand. It's a good brand. I definitely find it to be enjoyable. What's this? Have I? What? I can't believe I've done this to myself. How did I miss all this before? The Endeavor. So again, this is not something that's out right now, but the Endeavor is meant to be well, basically out for a long period of time. It's also supposed to be modular. We don't have a lot of information on this yet because it's still in concept. It's not flyable or anything like that. This is just a teaser hologram. But if you look at pictures of this, and I'll try to post something here. These are quite interesting modular ships. So check it out. There's like science variants, agricultural, cargo, you name it. And then we have the MISC. I believe it's the Odyssey. If I look at this correctly, it looks very familiar. Let me see if I got this right. No, Expanse. My bad. Wow. MISC Expanse. Looks like there's some cargo there. Wow. Quite interesting. You can see the cockpit. Again, ships that are in the concept that are not flyable yet. This looks very interesting, though. I get the feeling this feels very exploration with a little bit of refinery or some other cargo way. Interesting. What's down over here? Oh, and this is the Odyssey, if I remember correctly. Now this was interesting because this concept came out and immediately everybody was like, well, this is the new Explorer, this is the new Carrack. And you know, everybody has their debates and whatnot. This is what I have to say about the Carrack versus the Odyssey. We've gone over the Anvil Carrack being everybody's original multi-crew exploration ship. It's a massive, it's a good heavy hitter if it's crewed. Odyssey, if I was going to describe the Odyssey, it's kind of like the exploration city. It's got the hab units, it's got a mining laser, it's got its refineries. So it's meant to sustain itself for a very long period of time in unknown space. Or uncultured space, or uncivilized space, maybe. But this is not a ship that I would take by itself. This is something I would take with a carrier of some sort, with fighter support. There is a hangar on this ship. However, I may consider that to be maybe parking a Prospector in there or something. But just be aware. I think one way to remember that the Odyssey is not a one-man. It's not definitely not a one-man show. It's definitely not a one-ship show. It does need to be crewed, and you do want some backup and support. The Carrack has its size 4 turrets, so it has some strong defense and it's got strong shields. It can make that long trip, but it does not have that capability to refuel itself. It doesn't have that ability to sustain itself for such long periods of time like the Odyssey could. But again, maybe with the Carrack, you carry along a Starfarer and a Prospector. I want to say that the Expanse might have a refinery. But the things to consider is that you have to look at what your size of your crew is. The Odyssey is depending on you having a large sizable crew and, of course, support ships. And you're going to be, with Pyro just around the corner, the Odyssey might be a very valuable ship out there for these large orgs who want to establish a foothold. So just, you know, could be exciting, could be different. And I believe this is the Orion. No, wait. No, I'm mistaken. This is a Hull series. Hull series, which one is it? Hull C? So this kind of goes on the idea what I was talking about with Hull A. Hull A we saw upstairs. The Hull A is a cargo ship that opens up and carries cargo like this. This is the Hull C. So it carries a hell of a lot more cargo. And it really still separates. You can see how it separates and it holds its cargo. And it just thrusts off. The idea being is this is a really... I think the concept here is that this is meant to be in conjunction with like ships like the Argo Argo Raft. Wow, I gotta make sure I get that right. Not the Argo Cargo, the Argo Raft. The raft would theoretically, you know, take 3 of these boxes from the Hull C here and fly them down to the surface. You would not see the ship flying into atmosphere with this configuration. Something that would stay in orbit and people would come collect the boxes instead. This is a very interesting design. Again, still in concept work, but still just as exciting to see come out. I can't believe I haven't... Wow. I feel really bad. I'm so sorry to my audience because these concepts have been hiding back there and I just never noticed it. I maybe just now noticed it. Ay, ay, ay. Well, either way, this has been a fun adventure looking into... the MISC. They are wonderful ships, I have to say. I mean, I'm fond of the Prospector. It was my first mining ship. I eventually moved to the Argo Mole eventually, but running the Argo Mole as a solo miner can be a little stressful. And I don't regret my time on it, but the Prospector, you cannot underestimate the Prospector. It is quite formidable in its mining capabilities, and if you do it right, it still is very profitable. The MISC is, again, industrial, it's commercial, not so much combat with MISC. I wouldn't necessarily call MISC combat, but it is a very well-established industrial and commercial ships. So thank you again for joining me. Down below, you'll see my referral code. If you are that have not signed up for Star Citizen yet, please make sure to use a referral code. Doesn't have to be mine. That's just mine for reference. If you decide that I'm worthy of your use of it, it does grant you 5,000 extra starting credits, which is quite helpful. And that's the difference between having a full tank, or an empty tank, and along with gear. So don't forget that. It's quite hard to start with only 20,000 credits, trust me. So, but thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.